Had to trick it again. Now, this administration has had a problem. Well, they've got a lot of problems, but they're in this odd situation now where, Biden is pretty much done. He was done to begin with, but they, held this together this long, much to our misfortune. But he's got to go. And the problem is, in their being clever, they've got Kamala sitting there. And she's in line. And I don't know how you get rid of her, how you work around that. They hadn't thought this out. They were looking for votes, and they thought she could get a vote. But now they have to live with that mistake, which is, so they can't, you can't just get rid of Biden and move her in. I mean, that's untenable. So they're trying to work a way around this, trying to figure out who they could put in there. Because after Harris, what happens? You have Pelosi. Well, you don't want that. And I think she's on her way out too. I hope to God she's on her way out. But she's getting a lot of pushback. Now, she doesn't want to give up, but there's a lot of people that are just fed up with her nonsense. Now, the one that's really been kind of running Biden all this time, people will say Obama, and yeah, Obama's there, but the orders are being passed through Susan Rice. She is like the domestic policy advisor, but always stays in the background. I mean, she got burned with Hillary on that whole Benghazi thing, so she prefers to work in the background. But I think they're going to drag her out of the shadows. But like I said, they've got the problem with Harris. What can you do with her? So it's like they're working with this Rubik's Cube now. They know they have Susan Rice, and they really want to stick her into a prominent position. But, you got to make this change, to make that change, to make another, to get her up there. That's not easy. If Harris wasn't there, it wouldn't be a problem, but you've got Harris there. Otherwise, Susan Rice checks really all the same boxes as Harris did. But she's not an idiot like Harris is, but she's a scheming, treacherous sort of thing. A lot of these crazy policies that you blame Biden for are coming from her. So, that's not such a good sign either. But I think, because I hear people talking, they're going to get Michelle Obama, and that's too close. That's too in the family, kind of. Because even when they're talking about, Biden, of course, claims he's going to run. Oh, you betcha. He'll never make it through his term. There's no way in the world he would get it. I mean, and his popularity is just impossible to deal with. So they're going to have to shuffle. the Rubik's Cube. I just don't see how they could do it without bumping Harris off. I don't know that there's any job they could give her. Normally they'll do that. Oh, you can be ambassador to here, or, something. They'll find. But I think she kind of wants that top spot. I mean, she'd be absolutely horrible at it. It would just be untenable having her there. And they would shortly, if she got in, they would have to impeach her rather quickly just for sheer incompetence. But, like I said, then when you end up with Pelosi, how does that work? So I think they're going to try to slide that Susan Rice in there some way. Like I say, she's not unfamiliar with the job because she has been doing this stuff all the time, but in the background. And I know damn well she doesn't, she got burned bad with Hillary. They really put her on the spot. She really didn't like that. So she's very hesitant about getting in the limelight again. But who are you gonna call? They're horrible, the whole bunch. There isn't a competent person in the bunch. I'd have to say she is competent, but in a kind of an evil, twisted sort of Hillary Clinton way. Because they were pretty close at one time. So we'll see, but I think she's one to keep your eyes on. I know just now they, there's some committee they're putting together, and they're actually putting her on it out in the public. And like I say, that's something she really avoids. But this could be the foot in the door. Like I say, she's not a dummy. I mean, she's not like Harris. It's just that she's evil, twisted liberal. But a lot of stuff that you see Biden doing is coming from her, also with the Obama influence in there. But as I say, I don't think they could get Michelle Obama. I don't think that would work. I mean, if she ran, I don't think she would want to run. I don't think, why would you? I mean, you can't pick up this mess they got going now. Normally every time somebody gets in office and they're always blaming the one before them. When they're running, they said, oh, I can straighten this right out. This is no problem. I'm the guy, I can handle this. And then when they get in, they start blaming the one before them. But they all do that. But whoever comes after Biden is fully justified in blaming Biden for everything that went wrong. There's no problem there. There's no. It would be a horrible job to get into after this mess. But like I say, Rice actually was in on this from the ground up. I don't know. I'm thinking they're trying to shuffle her into a position of authority, but public authority. He's always had the power, but it's in the background. But I think they're getting that desperate. Because you look around the clowns that they've got, the people that would be in a position or have the desire to run for the next term or to step in when he croaks or whatever. I mean, he's got to go some one way or the other. He's got to go. And I think she's what they're looking at. But we'll see. We'll see if she turns up more in the public now. Because she's always been there in the background. But they're looking for somebody who at least has the appearance of sanity. And I think she's what they're falling on. It's been amazing how she's been able to keep out of the light all the time. Like I said, a lot of these policies are her policies. She's just, talking Biden into this stuff. And now, to step out in front, that'd be very interesting. I don't know what kind of reception she'll get. She still will be haunted by the ghost of Benghazi, but they can kind of blame Hillary for that because she did kind of get stuck on that deal. But she was right in there. She was part of the scheme, and it's just that she got pinned with all the blame. But now, Biden has been doing all this insane stuff, and none of the blame has fallen on Susan Rice. I think she's pretty careful about that, to make sure she's removed enough. But if she actually comes out in public, I think it's going to catch up with her. But we'll see. I'm curious to see how they're going to shuffle this around to try to get her into that position. It's not going to be easy. It would be if it wasn't for Harris, but having Harris there, that's a complication. I think you got to give Hillary a call. She can take care of complications like that. She has the connections. So it could be handled. It could be a mysterious plane crash, or God only knows. But I think if they're going to have any hope of trying, they're going to be screwed in the midterms, and it's going to be after the midterms that things are really going to start beating on them. And then they're going to have to get rid of Biden if he lasts that long. That's going to be a tough pull. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if she wants to be that public, though they do. There is a committee being formed now that she's going to be part of. So we'll see. If she gets up and starts doing a lot of talking, actually coming out from behind the curtain a little bit, then we'll kind of get an inkling of what she's up to. But she's been behind a lot of Biden's greatest boondoggles. That's been a big part of her. She has been his closest advisor. He's got some pretty bad advice. He's a knucklehead. He can't think of these things on his own. Somebody is telling him this nonsense. Really has to be her or that Klein. He's involved in this too, but I think she's the force behind a lot of this. I'm just thinking out loud. I was out on the grader all day and I was mulling this over. And then I come back in and I happen to look and I see, oh yeah, she's just getting on some newly formed committee. So she's coming out of the woodwork. Well, we'll see now if anybody jumps on this. It's a funny thing. Like you did recall some DA or something in California. That isn't hard. All you have to do is you have to look at these people, see if any money was donated to them by Soros or one of his organizations, If so, you know they're corrupt right away, and you got to get them out of there. Because a lot of our problems are coming from the stuff that Soros had put together. I should be careful. I think one of the committees, that committee I was talking about, he's getting on, has to do with protecting government from online harassment. Well, I may be harassing her, or harassing Soros. Boy, he's a snake. But all you got to do, you know, if you're trying to figure out who to vote for, if you can see if there's donations that came from Soros, you know, that's not somebody you want in. You know, that's the wrong candidate right there. Now, we keep your eye on Susan Rice. I think something's happening there. Like I say, Rubik's Cube. She's being twisted and turned, and somehow she's going to end up in that position. But if Harris will survive this, that's to be seen.